yearned for a higher life. The sorrows and joys of this world would fade, I thought, and as I came to know this other worldly reality more fully, I would give this world up this world in the hopes of glimpsing and eventually attaining a better world. I came to understand later in my life that as I distanced myself in some way from the world. My study of philosophy, for example, was largely motivated by the hope of finding a more orderly, stable world beyond this one, and it's not surprising that I felt a particular attraction to the work of ancient Greek philosopher Plato. In Plato's parable of the cave, he likens the human condition to that of prisoners in a cave who know no other reality beyond the shadows they see on the wall. One prisoner is dragged up the steep path into the world of the sun. The prisoner gradually comes to understand that this new world beyond the cave is the true one. And he returns to the cave only to try to convince the other prisoners to leave as well. This is just what Plato attempted in his own life, to teach others about the orderly and stable world of ideas that were more real to him than this shadowy and uncertain world in which we seem to live. Plato grew up in Athens during the last part of the 5th century BCE, when Athens was engaged in a terrible war which eventually lost to Sparta. Then in his late 20s, he witnessed the newly restored Athenian democracy and his friend Socrates put to death. Is it any wonder Plato withdrew from public life? Is it any wonder he sought a world beyond this one? A stable world of unchanging and perfect ideas, open to anyone willing to undertake the difficult work of detaching from the body and from this world. How different it all is from this world with wars, with public deaths, and ideas that change on Facebook from day to day. Unitarian-universalists are sometimes dismissive of those who seek refuge in a world beyond this one. But wouldn't we be more honest to admit that there is something of Plato in each of us? A desire to transcend our finite condition, to rise above errors, to escape from frugality and death, to insulate ourselves from the pain of relationships, to become self-sufficient, become godlike. Put another way, the question we face is the question of hope. Is human hope to be found in transcending this world or in embracing it? Is hope to be found in self-sufficiency or in relationship with others? Most of Western thought has found hope in world religions that describe personhood as minds or souls that can be separated from the material world, and in world religions that insist humans are essentially individual rather than relational. This shows a fear of embracing our material nature and a fear of embracing relationships. To be material is to be vulnerable to death. To be relational is to be vulnerable to other people. It's not surprising that so much of our culture seeks hope in escaping from vulnerability rather than embracing it. We see ourselves essentially as individual spirits or minds, finally not subject to the death of our bodies or the trials of other people. Buddhism states that to reach the next stage, we must give up all relations with material wealth as well as with family and friends. You cannot cling to anything to move to a higher plane. We have all experienced something of the pain that comes with allowing ourselves to be vulnerable to other people. To be of this world is to live with the certainty of pain and death, and to live with the risk of losing that which makes our integrity, our moral life, possible at all. Is it any wonder that many religious traditions insist that we are in exile here, and that the truly human quest is escape from this world's limitations? Just think of the old hymns many of us grew up with. I'm but a stranger here, heaven is my home, or loved ones are waiting for me, or many mansions up there. Songs that talk about how wonderful it would be in heaven. Odysseus is the hero of Homer's Odyssey. He's given the opportunity by the goddess Calypso to achieve that quest, or to remain immortal and return to his mortal wife, Penelope. Odysseus chose the life of a human rather than being a god. In doing so, he also chooses aging and death. More than that, he chooses either to suffer the pain of the death of the person he loves most, his wife Penelope, if she dies before him, or to cause her such pain if he dies first. He is choosing the whole human package: mortal life, dangerous voyage, imperfect mortal aging women. He is choosing the form of human life with the possibilities of excellence, love, and achievement that inhabit that form. And what about human love versus an immortal love of the goddess Calypso? What can Odysseus' mortal life give that Calypso cannot? A story, But Homer's account of Odysseus and Penelope's lovemaking includes the stories they tell one another about their rich lives. National Public Reporter Frank Brown visited a center in California where Dr. Rachel Riemann works with cancer patients to help them face the disease. Riemann described a woman who had a mastectomy for cancer and was terribly afraid afterwards to let her husband see the scar. When he finally caught a glimpse of it accidentally, his wife was astonished to discover that it strengthened rather than weakened his desire for her. Brown ended his February 2000 Weekend Edition report in this way: the erotic body, the sensual body, the real body is a scarred body. A body which, by portraying its flaws and fertilities, also reveals its spirit. Odysseus ultimately found more hope in human relationships than the self-sufficient life of gods or angels. They embraced their humanity by risking intimacy in the relationships of family and friendship. We can all attest to the courage intimacy demands, but is intimacy in love and friendship enough? What, if any, is the hope to be found in community? More to the point for us, what hope do religious communities such as our Unitarian-Universalist congregations have to offer that love and friendship do not? I would like to suggest that one answer is strangers. There is, as many of you know, a growing trend in many religious movements, including the UUA, to pay renewed attention to our need to be known and to know, to support and be supported, to love and be loved. Many people are pointing out that intimacy is among the major reasons people visit religious congregations. If we fail if we offer them only committee work. This, in fact, is one thing that we have to offer people. I am nervous, however, when I hear people say that when they seek their religious communities, it is family. Small groups within a congregation may come to feel like families, but congregations as congregations cannot and should not be families. To seek to shape congregations in this way is necessary to make strangers unwelcome. We human beings need intimacy, but we also need what Parker Palmer calls the company of strangers. A religious community ought to be a place to which we welcome strangers, in which we are eager to learn from strangers, and to which we live peacefully and justly with those who are very different from ourselves. Think for a minute of the familiar story of the Pilgrims. There is a little-known side story. Not all the passengers who sailed on the Mayflower were pilgrims. In fact, only 41 belonged to that group. In order to fill the ship and bring more people with skills the pilgrims themselves didn't have, the pilgrims had to offer passage to 61 other men and women who had their own reasons for wanting to leave England. The pilgrims called these people strangers. Relations between the pilgrims and the strangers were not easy. When the Mayflower landed far north of the Virginia territory for which it had been headed, some of the strangers argued that they were now freed from any original agreements they could strike out on their own. The Mayflower Compact, an agreement to covenant and combine ourselves together in a civil body politic, suggests that both the pilgrims and the strangers recognized that their chances of success, and even of survival, were better if they stuck together than if they went their own separate ways. Parents may be right to teach their children to be wary of strangers, but he cautioned us against taking and teaching our wariness too far. Some strangers are potential friends, and sometimes strangers even save our lives. We need intimate relations, but we need other kind of relationships just as much. We need strangers, people whose value is more than their difference from us and their likeness to us, people who will shake us up and make us look at the world differently. We are on the verge of becoming to welcome strangers in our midst as we head off to Mansfield Pride this Saturday. We will be interacting with strangers who may not look like us, maybe don't act like us, but whom we are trying to welcome into our midst. Strangers who can enrich our lives in the life of our church. In our congregation, at their best, strangers are viewed not as threats, but as having inherent worth and dignity, and being indispensable parts of the interdependent web to which we all belong. Our principles don't tell us that only friends have inherent value. We insist everyone does. Our principles call us to practice the fragile art of hospitality. What we have to struggle for and to preserve is the shared vision of the why we live together, why we support each other, what each of us brings to the table. Religious communities exist because we need alternatives to the larger culture which can be hard to deal with. We need to know, we need to live an alternative view of the world. Our family and friendships provide one kind of alternative vision, but intimacy is not the only alternative vision we need. We need a community that is excited about, rather than scared by, the possibilities that strangers bring. A community that takes seriously the inherent value of each person and the fact that we are all in this interdependent web together. In a world of greater and greater mistrust, people are desperate for the hope found in community. The hope that it is possible not just to tolerate, but to benefit from, to live fuller lives because of the company of strangers. It may be that the greatest contribution our religious communities can make to the larger world is not our social justice projects, as important as these are, but our modeling for the larger world an alternative reality to the mistrust, inequality, and narrow-minded self-interest that is rampant here. According to contemporary Unitarian Universalist activist Betty Reed Soskin, the way to change the world is to be what we want to see. What hope we might offer to the world, the closer our congregations come to living out our principles. The closer we come to being communities of genuine respect and democracy, genuinely celebrating difference. We live in a world as frightened of community as it is of death. The truth is, we human beings are understandably frightened of the vulnerable, finite creatures we truly are. We seek escape from vulnerability and death by redefining ourselves and our philosophies and religions, by hiding behind material wealth and power at the expense of others. Unitarian Universalists, we who lay claim to a religious worldview that takes this world to be our true home, that takes this finite life to be our real life, have a tremendous contribution to offer our frightened world. We can help to show the world that the joys of embracing our finite lives are worth the risks and losses. We can help to show the world that it's possible for human beings to live together justly and peacefully. What we have to offer the world is the possibility of genuine hope. Hope in the world we have, hope in the finite, interdependent creatures we are, hope in our relationships of love and friendship, hope in the communities we create, not only with one another, but with the strangers with whom we are lucky enough to be in company. The Tenrico religion says, all the people of the whole world are equally brothers and sisters. There is no one who is an utter stranger. The souls of all people are equal, whether they live on the high mountains or the bottoms of the valleys. It is worth taking the chance of getting to know strangers because of all you can gain. Strangers who can enrich our lives and the lives of our church. May we have hope in the strangers we meet this week when we go to Pride. Please stand and join me in singing our last song.
Except the machine just turned itself off. Hold on a second.
Number 95.
The device is never.
It's number 346.